Nick, take it away.
All right, so you guys know me. I like nerding out on stuff or going taking deep dives on certain topics. The one that I'm taking a deep dive on today is timely, and it will make sense at the end. Stick with me. I'm going to try and keep it as concise as possible, but I'm going to talk about console exclusivity. And for those who don't know or maybe not be gamers, um, certain consoles will claim certain titles or series of games for their own. They will buy the licenses to exclusively have those titles playable on their consoles and nothing else. Um, and it's got kind of an interesting history here. So I'll touch on some of the old ones, some of like how it came about. Um, and for the purposes of this discussion, I am going to exclude PC games just because most games end up coming to PC eventually. It becomes a whole different thing. So I'm going to focus mainly just on consoles and not just PC games. So it started off as like kind of an unavoidable thing, right? This is before cartridges, this is before CDs, this is before you could really do all that. So the consoles came with games built in. So think Atari, Pac-Man, Pong, like some of those older school games that came built in with the console, and that was you had what you had, and that was it. But once they started moving to like cartridges and CDs, companies could make obviously a lot more money by selling these games to a wider audience of different types of consoles. So this kind of started heating up in the 90s and the early 2000s with what they called the console wars. Um, Console manufacturers were looking to claim the biggest market share that they possibly could. Because apparently, and I learned this today, most game consoles actually operated a loss for the first several years that they come out. They aren't making money off of those. So the way that they make money is try to get as many people onto their platform as possible, and then getting their share of revenue, licensing fees, whatever it is, from these games that people buy once they're on their consoles. So like early on, it was Nintendo, Sega, Atari was like still hanging around a little bit in the 90s, but they were kind of fading. So like you think about Nintendo, they had big titles, Mario, Mega Man, Zelda, all those classics when you think about like classic game franchises. Sega was kind of holding its own. They had Sonic the Hedgehog, they had the Castlevania series, some of those other ones that kind of held them above water, but Nintendo was kind of kicking Sega's ass in the later part of the 90s. And then came Sony. So when Sony entered the game, they convinced a little studio called Square Enix that PlayStation was the place that they should bring their new game franchise called Final Fantasy. PlayStation was able to handle the graphics that Final Fantasy had. They're known for their beautiful cutscenes, like theatrical graphics, like almost photorealistic. I mean, they're always Final Fantasy's always ahead of its time, and PlayStation has always had a little bit of an edge when it comes to just like hardware and graphics and things like that. So, long story short, Sony got Final Fantasy in the late 90s, early 2000s. They also had some other big titles like Tekken, Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid, and a personal favorite of Justin and I, Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
Those are the games that I grew up playing. Like I started off on a Sega Genesis, and I had some other like little consoles, but my first like real console was the Sony PlayStation, and that just like started a lifelong addiction. So as we kind of turned the corner into the new millennium, another big player into the scene, and that was Microsoft. Microsoft introduced the Xbox, obviously, and with kind of their sway and their resources, they were able to pull in big titles like obviously Halo was the really, really big one that just totally changed the world of video games. I mean, do y'all remember playing Halo for the first time?
Oh yeah,
Like
Yes.
absolutely.
stepping out of that drop ship and looking up in the sky and seeing the fucking ring.
Different plant like the
Um,
rings and the planets and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. What a moment that was. Anyway, so not so Halo was obviously their big one. Also had like Forza Motorsport, later on Gears of War, stuff like
Hmm.
that. So um, as time has gone on, they've been kind of trading blows back and forth, but gradually these games companies are moving away from console exclusives as we've moved into the new age of everything's digital storefront, things are subscription based, like mobile gaming's become big. They're moving more and more away from these console exclusive titles, or at least Microsoft did. Sony has done a better job, I feel like, over the last few years with titles like The Last of Us, Uncharted, Ghost of Tsushima. Like those are all Sony PlayStation exclusives that I think have probably given them an edge
God
when
of
it comes
War.
to console sales. Yeah, God of War,
Mhm.
exactly. Forgot about that one. So the reason for this is they don't have to rely as much on selling consoles to make money. They're making their money elsewhere. So it's become a little bit more of an open market when it comes to just the different various platforms that are available. And then you're also crossing platforms with things like Xbox Game Pass, where you can play Xbox games on PC and mobile, like handheld, Switch, all these different things. So it's just become a lot more amalgamous. But all of this has been building up to something that has rocked the gaming industry this year, and that was when Microsoft announced plans to purchase Activision slash Blizzard. It would be the largest deal that the gaming industry had ever seen. It's currently under review by some uh, European Union. What is it? It's the what did I call it? Competition and Markets Authority. It's basically like an antitrust thing in the EU that's basically reviewing them to say, like, are you going to be too big if you purchase this? Why does this matter? Who makes Call of Duty? Activision. So what people are afraid of is that Microsoft acquires Activision, they pull Call of Duty from the Sony PlayStation platform, and Sony would essentially be dead in the water. Like Sony's even confirmed, like if they pull Call of Duty, we will not be able to survive. That is just a money printing machine for anyone who's able to get that title. So there's a lot of concern about it. Sony's trying to like do a bunch of things to stall the deal and try and break it up. There's like saying, oh, you got to sell it off, like whatever this, like, I don't know. It'll be interesting because that's a big one. And then also another big one coming out in the next few years is the Elder Scrolls 6. Has already been determined that that's going to be an Xbox exclusive. So, yeah, because Microsoft bought Bethesda back in 2021, and they've already said, yep, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be an Xbox exclusive. So it's seeming like some of these exclusivity things are starting to heat back up. It'll just be interesting to see where we go in the next few years, if it changes the landscape as far as gaming, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have the numbers here, but I think PS5 has pretty much dominated the Xbox, right? Like,
Yes.
Yep.
like they're outselling them at every turn, right?
Oh yeah.
Pretty much. Well, let me tell you something. Microsoft can fucking have Call of Duty, okay? Because that game
They
is
show the fuck out. I was thinking the same
trash.
shit.
When you
Y'all can
said it,
take that motherfucker.
they can fucking have it, okay? Because that game is absolute garbage right now. We tried to play Call of Duty, was it yesterday or day before yesterday? We made it
Day
through
before
2
yesterday.
games, and we were like, absolutely not. Like, we're not playing it. It is a terrible fucking game right now. So Microsoft can have it.
Why is it so
understand
bad?
it.
Why is it so
Dude,
bad?
it's
Because it's fucking trash. Man. You ever look at a trash can and like, damn, you are useless. You hold trash. That's it. Like that's literally that fucking game, bro. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying. That
it
game
is.
is horrible, bro.
It's
Game is ass, bro.
But to people who don't play, explain why it sucks.
because
It sucks.
So Call of Duty used to, like, there actually used to be like skill required. I know some people are like, it's never been skill required, but there used to be some level of skill to be required to play Call of Duty. At this point, the time to kill, so for people who don't know what time to kill is, basically the amount of time it takes me to shoot another person and to eliminate them from that gunfight is so goddamn low right now that you don't even have time to react to things that are going on in the game, because before you know it, you're dead. And because it's so low, it appeals more to casual players now than it actually does players who have skill, because it's pretty much a, if I see you first, or maybe not if I see you first, if I have a faster shooting gun than you and you come around a corner and there's a hair of a second difference between me noticing you or you noticing me, like, you're going to win the gunfight. And it doesn't require any skill to actually win these battles. And it's just not fun right now, man. Like, you can't get yourself set. Like, you can't even strategize as a team. Like, there's, like, you just land and you die. Like, that's pretty much what happens, and it is the most aggravating, frustrating thing. So as Ryan said, that game is a garbage can right now. Microsoft can have it. I know, in like the grand scheme of things, like, everybody continues to buy it, everybody continues to play Call of Duty, so yeah, it's a cash grab. But man, does that game really, really suck right now, man.
You're not getting my $70 this year. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Probably
Yeah.
not after the year after. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah, for
Sorry.
sure. I was so disappointed. And I think the most disappointing thing, Nick, about this most recent game is it's Modern Warfare 2, right? So it is the sequel to 2019 Modern Warfare. That was an A+ like game title. We put so many hours into that game. It was so much fun. It was done well. It actually required skill to play. And then they came out with this one, and it is absolutely nothing like the first one. They were like, we're going to take everything that was great about that game, and we're going to throw it in the trash, and we're going to release something completely different. So, yeah, Microsoft can have it, in my opinion. Like, honestly,
Sure can.
Sony needs to like come up with the Call of Duty like competitor. I mean, I know Battlefield has tried to compete. I don't bring Medal of Honor back or something, but like it's just Call of Duty has just been absolutely trash, bro.
I forgot about that. Medal of Honor.
That
Medal of Honor
sick.
was my Medal of Honor was my shit, bro. Back on the
Dude,
early
that first
PlayStation 1
one?
days, yeah,
Yes.
bro. Thing was
Yes,
awesome, man.
dude.
Thing was awesome.
So
So,
fucking remember that game.
yep. Appreciate you sharing.
Well-
Let's check the chat. There's been a lot of chatter about this video game stuff. So,
Yeah, pretty funny stuff. So KO Megablade says, fun fact, back in the 80s, Squaresoft was on the verge of bankruptcy and wanted to make one last game as their swan song, which is why they named it Final Fantasy.
what?
Oh,
I did not know that. That's dope.
interesting. I had no
I
clue.
forgot.
And
I
now
forgot they were called SquareSoft.
And now we're
I
on
did
what,
too.
Final Fantasy 13 or 14 or whichever one.
16.
16,
comes
excuse
out
me.
this
So
year.
16 games later, they're still on their swan song. That's cool. Thanks for sharing.
Hey,
That's a really
revive
fun
them, yeah.
fact. Yep.
And he also said it's not quite true that Elder Scrolls 6 will be Xbox exclusive. I did fact check it, and he's right. They've hinted at it. They've also made their upcoming AAA games, Starfield. They've confirmed that's Xbox exclusive. So, like, yeah, they haven't technically confirmed it yet, but it's in all likelihood going to be.
Okay.
Elroy's clapping back. He said, "You want a guest appearance on the show?"
My man was throwing out the facts. I ain't mad at it. We appreciate you. Stop
No,
hating
that's
Uncle
cool.
Elroy. Dang.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. I'll admit when I miss. And then 5 a.m. said Medal of Honor Rising Sun was lit. Yeah, Rising Sun was like low key a really fun game. It was like gory as hell too. Like I remember you were like roasting dudes with like a flamethrower and they'd come out screaming and shit. It was like it was pretty rough.
Good times.
But
good
no,
times.
Battlefield
Nightmares.
also like I don't understand why Battlefield didn't get to the level of Call of Duty. I think maybe because it's not quite as beginner friendly. Like Call of Duty, you can just pick it up and start blasting. Like there's really no learning
Especially
curve
now.
to it
Especially
whatsoever.
now. Especially now.
But Battlefield, there's a little bit of a learning curve. But
Yeah.
God, when you get into it, it's so much fun.
That makes sense.
I
KO
was
Megablade
disappointed
also.
about 2042.
Yeah. 2042 was a letdown. I thought it was going to be a really good game, and it didn't. It ended
Yeah.
up being terrible. KO Megablade. This is the epitome of what we deal with on Call of Duty. We were playing with one of our friends yesterday, and he literally, like Nick, I'm not even exaggerating. He yelled, "There's a team," and before he could even put the period like on the end of the sentence, he was dead. It was like
Done.
instantaneous. He was gone. And that's just the state of that game right now, and it's absolute trash. We maybe have played, I want to say like Warzone, we've maybe put in 10 hours total, versus like the original Warzone, like thousands of hours like on that game, like hundreds of wins. And it just goes to show the difference, man. We were so excited for this. Everybody geared up. I mean, Nick, even you like played the multiplayer with us for a little bit. That was fun, but I mean, it got old after a while, and then Warzone came out, and it's been a letdown, man. So I am severely disappointed in this most recent iteration of Call of Duty. So
To be fair, that has always been my experience with Call of Duty Warzone, though, is that it just dies so fast. I've never been good at it. Never been good at that. I've never been good at Apex, but I trust y'all. Y'all played enough to know what you're talking about. And it seems to be the general sentiment as well. I think I've read a lot of things online where people just aren't happy with it. So
yeah, it's crazy because this Call of Duty was like one of the most like highest selling Call of Duties, but it also has been like one of the most like review bombed. Like people are just like they hate the state of the game right now. And it's
well,
just,
when it launched, like the fucking interface, even on multiplayer, sucked.
yeah,
dick.
it did.
It did.
It
I don't
did.
know
It
if they
was-
fixed it or not,
They
but like
didn't. They
you get
didn't.
8 clicks down to like do anything to your gun, and then like you hop in or out of a lobby, it just resets you back.
Yep. Still the same.
was-
Still the same. I got in there yesterday and I was trying to join their party and I was like, I don't even know where to fucking go. Like, where do I go to get to the game that I want to play? Yeah, I could talk about Call of Duty and how bad it is right now all night. So, but anywho, we appreciate you sharing that, man. Thanks for those facts. It'll be interesting to see where the console wars go over the next few years, especially if Microsoft is allowed to acquire Activision Blizzard. So I believe that covers all of our topics for today. So I think we are going to go ahead and close it out. Any last minute thoughts, anything from anybody?
PC gaming for the win.
PC
I never have to worry about it.
PC
If it comes to
gaming.
Xbox, it comes to PC. We're good.
There you go. There you go. Ryan, any last minute thoughts and spring cleaning, any of that good stuff? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You gonna do them baseboards, dog?
I'll be honest with you, man. If you have a clean ass house, you 100% better about yourself.
Yeah, that's
Just gonna
true.
let you know right now, like
I won't argue with that.
real shit.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, it's true now, huh?
I mean, my house is clean, so like, I do keep it clean.
Oh, we know. Oh, you keep it clean?
I
like
do.
you personally?
First of all, yes, I do clean my
Bitch,
house.
you don't
okay?
clean shit. Shut the hell up.
Yes, I
Shut the fuck up. Bitch,
Yes, I
no.
do.
No, the fuck
Okay.
you don't.
Do you know the amount of dirt that accumulates in the 2 weeks it takes before our cleaning service actually comes to clean our home? Like, I spend
You
a
don't. Your cleaning service does.
I know.
Shit.
I spend
You
a lot
don't
of time.
fucking know shit.
I spend a lot of time sweeping and mopping and washing dishes, and I don't vacuum. I let them do that. But we do clean around here in between the cleaning service. For all the people in the chat, I have a cleaning service, and all my friends give me shit about it. But I promise you, try it, and it will be one of the best things that you spent your money on. The amount of time that I save not having to do some of the things that they do, like, it is 100% absolutely worth it. So that's my spring cleaning for you there, Ryan. I'm going to continue to pay my cleaning service to clean my house every other week. So.
No, why don't you wake up on a Saturday morning and throw on some gospel, pine sol, and Clorox in the bathtub and mop the floor? That's how
was,
you get shit clean.
Back
It must
in the
be
day.
nice.
That's what my grandma,
It
my
must be
mom
nice.
used to do. So I'm trying to tell you,
I
man.
was just trying to get like you,
You?
my boy.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and call it. We appreciate everybody hopping in. Per the usual, this is our show. Spoiler alert: we do this every Monday at 8:30. So if you enjoy the content, please tune in. Don't forget to follow us here on Twitch so you can know when we're streaming. We're actually gonna stream some Rainbow Six Siege. We're probably gonna rage a little bit after this, so stay tuned for that. And also follow us on Twitter as well as YouTube. You think it'd be much easier for me to say this because I've said it so many times, but our handle is at spoiler alert for you. And again, that's at spoiler alert, the number 4 and the letter U. And we appreciate everybody.
Appreciate y'all coming out. Hey,
Bye,
man,
y'all.
Follow me on Instagram, man. Ride with Big Black. You know what I'm saying? Just check out some of my stuff, man. We're gonna get
Ryan,
it
the
popping.
show's,
Hopefully, I get some good film
ending.
on.
The show's ending.
You dirty bitch. Did you stop it? Like,
No, not yet, but
all right,
I
man.
need
All
to
right, man.
stop
Don't worry.
it.
Hey, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it, cause you always fucking shit up, Jay. I swear, you fucked up my damn spring cleaning shit. Now you fucked up. me explaining my
Everybody have
handle
a
and
good
shit.
night.
Hey,
We
man,
love you all.